Hello friends and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. When most people hear the word hydrangea, they just clump all different types of hydrangeas in together and they think of the classic hydrangea. But there are 5 main different types of hydrangeas that we're going to discuss today because it is so important to pick the right type of hydrangea for your space. Some love the full sun, some need more shade, some are incredibly drought tolerant once established. Some need consistent moisture. So today we are going to take the guesswork out of choosing the right hydrangea for your space because knowledge is power. Here we have the classic Macrophylla hydrangea that most people, when you say the word hydrangea, this is the image that comes to mind. That beautiful, nice, rounded pink or blue or purple flower that maybe they grew up seeing in their grandmama's garden. So macrophyllas are that classic big leaf, also known as a big leaf hydrangea, that will give us colors in their blooms based off of the soil's pH. So that's why you could have the exact same hydrangea as your neighbor, but it could be 2 totally different colors. For the general hardiness zones on your max, generally speaking, they are hardy in zones 5 to 9. So very versatile within the zones. The cooler the zones, the more sun you can get. The warmer the zone, the more shade it's going to need. Your Macrophylla hydrangeas, they tend to be the ones that prefer the shade, especially in these warmer zones like me in North Carolina, a zone 8A. So when I am planting a hydrangea, Macrophylla hydrangea like this Let's Dance Skyview, I am going to put it in filtered sun all day or morning sun but afternoon shade. Macrophyllas do not like the intense hot afternoon sun in the warmer zones. If you are in a zone 5 or 6, you probably can absolutely put your macrophyllas in that full sun and they will absolutely flourish. Your max, commonly called, are also going to be those ones that really enjoy the moisture. So you're going to want to put them in those areas that receive consistent moisture. I have tried to do some max underneath large trees like some crepe myrtles that suck up all the water and they struggle. I put them in an area that is on irrigation, more rich acidic soil, and they are absolutely thriving. Your max will depend on the cultivar as far as their size. They can go anywhere from like a 2 foot tall up to 5 to 6 feet. So depending on the cultivar that you are purchasing, just make sure that you are aware of its mature size. Now, how do you get these beautiful blooms? Well, typically your max are going to bloom on old growth. That means we do not want to prune the Macrophylla hydrangeas in late summer, fall, winter, or early spring. If you need to prune your max, you're going to do it after they bloom, after they give you this first flush of gorgeous flowers. Then if you need to reduce the size, then you can go in and go ahead and prune it. A lot of the new cultivars like Skyview have been bred so they bloom on old growth, which is what we see here, and new growth. So that means as the plant is growing through the summer, you're going to get a continuous display of flowers. Again, just check with the cultivar that you are purchasing to know if it is a repeat bloomer on new and old, or does it just bloom on old wood? So there we have our Macrophylla hydrangeas. Next up, we have Serrata hydrangeas, mountain hydrangeas, one of my all-time favorites. Think of it as the tougher cousin to the Macrophylla hydrangeas. So Serratas are going to be those really tough lace cap hydrangeas, so a very completely different bloom than your max. They are still going to be pH dependent, so you're going to get the pinks, the purples, the blues on them, often on the exact same plant. Generally speaking, they are hardy in zones 5 to 9. So why would we want to choose a Serrata mountain hydrangea? Well, those Serratas, like I said, they tend to be tougher, in my opinion, in the garden. Once they are established, they're going to be more drought tolerant than your Macrophylla hydrangeas. Also, they are a little bit more forgiving on the sunlight that they get. I have seen in my personal experience that they can handle some hot afternoon sun here in the South for a couple of hours in that, that weird window. I tell people the story all the time. So Mimi, my mama, of course, has that dry shade garden. Along her driveway, she has this very weird spot as far as the sun goes. So she could not grow Macrophylla hydrangeas because it would get too much sun and they would burn. She couldn't grow Panicle hydrangeas because they got not enough sun and would not bloom. So she planted the Tough Stuff hydrangeas there. And dear heavens, my friends, these are the most spectacular, beautiful hydrangeas you have ever seen. Not on irrigation, and so they produce these massive amounts of all these colorful blooms that reliably get flowers every year. They do bloom on old growth. So again, like your Macs, you do not want to prune these in the late summer, fall, winter, or early spring. If Mimi needs to reduce the size, then she will do that immediately after they bloom. But your serratas, or your mountain hydrangeas as they're commonly called, are going to be more drought tolerant, tougher, handle that weird sun situation. So if your garden area cannot handle the max, get too much sun, or maybe not enough water, I want you to try a serrata. Again, they come in a wide range of sizes, anywhere from like the tiny Tough Stuff, which is going to be like a 1.5 to 2 feet tall and wide, up to a 4 to 5 foot. So again, look at your space, think of the maximum size that you can, and then choose that right cultivar of those serrata hydrangeas. Next up, we have smooth hydrangeas. So I have got an example of a smooth hydrangea right here beside of me. This is Invincible Sublime, a beautiful smooth hydrangea. And then, of course, behind us, we have the Incredibles, another example of your smooth hydrangeas. Smooth hydrangeas are fantastic. They are some of my absolute favorite hydrangeas. One, they are native to North America, so that is amazing. So if you are building a native garden, you absolutely can put in your smooth hydrangeas. Also, they're going to be more cold tolerant. Generally speaking, they are hardy in zones 3 to 9, depending on your cultivar. They are going to bloom on new growth, which is what I love. That means we are guaranteed to get beautiful flowers every single summer because they bloom on new growth. As we're coming out of winter, we are going to prune these hydrangeas. They're going to flush out that new growth and then give us these beautiful blooms. They're going to bloom ahead of like a panicle hydrangea that we're going to talk about in a minute. So they're going to bloom around the same time that your macrophyllas do. So you're going to get a nice continuous display of flowers if you have max and you have smooth hydrangeas. Smooth hydrangeas are going to be more color specific, meaning that the pH is not going to change the color of your bloom. They are known for those classic rounded blooms. So like the Sublime here is going to be a beautiful, nice lime color on really, really dark foliage. Of course, Incredibles are going to give us these massive, pure white flowers. Another one of my favorites is Invincible Ruby. Ruby, as you might suggest and think of, is going to give us really beautiful red flowers. These plants are tough. They're going to be much more adaptable to different sun conditions since they are native plants. You can put this in a filtered sun area. I actually have Sublime up in the woodland garden, so it gets filtered sun. But yet my Incredibles are out here in the full blazing sun all day. They are on irrigation. I like to tell people that. However, my Sublimes up in the chicken coop woodland garden are not on irrigation. So once they are established, they're going to be quite drought tolerant. And then you just get those beautiful, reliable blooms every single year. So if you have harsh winters, you don't have to worry about not getting your flowers on your smooth hydrangeas. These are very versatile, gorgeous hydrangeas. And if you're nervous about pruning hydrangeas, start with this because they are so incredibly forgiving. Next up, we have my personal favorite category of hydrangeas because I have a mostly sun garden, panicles. Panicle hydrangeas are going to be those hydrangeas that actually require sun. If you have a panicle hydrangea and it is not blooming, odds are it is getting too much shade, not enough sun. If there were one type of hydrangea that I would recommend to a new gardener, especially in the South that has a sunnier garden, it is going to be a panicle. These are extremely forgiving hydrangeas that reliably give us gorgeous blooms all summer long, every single year. Generally speaking, they are hardy in zones 3 to 8. There are some cultivars that are hardy in zone 9, so you would just need to pay attention to that if you are in those warmer zones and find that specific cultivar that will work in your warmer zone. Panicles are going to bloom on brand new growth, just like our smooth hydrangeas. So we're guaranteed to have flowers. You're going to want to give it a little prune at the end of winter going into spring so that we encourage that new growth, which gives us these typically pure white cream flowers that will age to a pink or a mauve. Your panicles are going to be in a cone shape. Think of an upside down ice cream cone. That's how you can just look at a hydrangea and know that is a panicle because of the bloom shape on it. They come in a wide range of sizes. So here we have Tiny Quickfire. This is going to be probably the smallest, shortest panicle hydrangea that I know, in that roughly 2-foot range. And then of course we can go from here all the way up to the big boys of like Limelight. Limelight is one of the absolute classic panicle hydrangeas. And Limelight can get in that 8 to 10 foot range. We have an old one behind, like on the edge of our property, and she is massive, but gives this huge blooms every single summer. So your panicle hydrangeas, these are going to be for, like I said, for those people that have those sunnier conditions, I would say a minimum of 5 hours of sun. Doesn't matter if it's morning sun or afternoon sun or a combination of all the above, but they've got to have that sun in order to produce your beautiful flowers. Now, I did say that they are hardy in zones 3 to 8, even to a 9. Panicles are known at the end of the summer to turn that really pretty mauve, pink, red color. So I will say this to my southern gardeners. It always, when I first started gardening and I would have these panicles, I would get so frustrated because my panicles would not turn those beautiful red colors. It is nothing that we are doing wrong, my friends. This is because of our environment. The heat and the humidity prevent the panicles from turning those bright pinks and reds that our northern friends get because it is cool, dry nights that cause the hydrangea to take on those pink hues. And if you live in the South, you know that come in August, the nights here, they are not cool and dry. They are hot and sticky. And so you will notice that your panicles are going to be very different colors than our northern friends. It is what it is, my friends. I will say that the best colors that I have gotten off of my panicles come from the Firelight series. So whether it is the traditional Firelight that's nice and big or the smaller ones like Firelight Tidbit, they will take on those pinks to a tinge. Not like our northern friends, but you still get it. So if you, again, are a new gardener and you have a sunny area, 5 hours or all day intense hot sun, they can do it. Choose a panicle hydrangea. You're going to love it because you're going to feel great and successful because you get beautiful blooms all summer, every summer. Last and certainly not least, for the top 5 most common hydrangeas, Oakleaf hydrangeas. Now, whoever named the Oakleaf hydrangea was really creative because the leaves look just like an oak leaf, nice and big. Your Oakleaf hydrangeas are going to be a native species to the Southeast United States, and they are known historically for being more in those shaded woodland gardens because they give us these beautiful elongated, they're not really cone shaped like a panicle, they're just really nice and long, white flowers that will again take on those pinkish reddish hues later in the summer. Also, This is Snow Queen, and she smells divine. She has a lovely fragrance to her. The pollinators will come and be very attracted to your Oakleaf hydrangeas because they have more of kind of that open, airy habit. Depending on your cultivar, some will give you that what we consider like a lace cap bloom where it's very open and airy like Snow Queen. Or if you were to say like go to like a Gatsby gal, it's going to be a tighter bloom on it. Your Oakleaf hydrangeas are going to be hardy in zone 5 to 9. Again, if you are in a zone 5, you can do more sun. If you are in those warmer zones, definitely put these babies in the shadier conditions. We love Oakleaf hydrangeas in those shaded woodland gardens because they bring us year-round interest. So if you have that kind of filtered sun, morning sun, afternoon shade situation, your oak leaves are going to be the hydrangea that give you the most interest throughout the entire year. Why is that? Well, of course, you get early spring blooms, right? Beautiful, pure white that will then age to that kind of that pinky mauve color. When the fall hits, your oak leaf hydrangeas, the leaves themselves will turn a beautiful burgundy color. Depending on the cultivar, some will hold on to those leaves a lot longer than others. So you get a beautiful fall foliage display. And then in the wintertime, the bark itself is very unique and interesting. If you're familiar with 9-barks, it kind of reminds me of a 9-bark look to it. Your oak leaf hydrangeas bloom on old growth. We do not want to prune our oak leaves. So when you are choosing that oak leaf, make sure you know what the mature size for that specific cultivar is going to be, and then make sure that it has that room in your garden, because this is the one we just want to leave it alone and let it go. Oak leaves are similar to panicles in the fact of they have a wide range of sizes. So you can get nice short petite oak leaf hydrangeas, but historically an oak leaf is going to get really big, like 10, 12 feet tall and wide. So depending on your space, choose wisely. If you have a small confined space, don't go for those traditional massive oak leaf hydrangeas. You're going to kill yourself trying to contain it and maintain it in that space. So choose wisely, but your oak leaves, very, very versatile and give us that gorgeous year-round color that you're going to love. The secret to success with hydrangeas is not necessarily finding the prettiest hydrangea at your local garden center. It is about choosing the right type of hydrangea for the space that you want it to go in. So make those wise, educated decisions. If it's going to depend, how much sun do you have in that space? How much water are you willing to give it? What size do you want it to be? What are your goals? Do you want to have a massive display of flowers in the spring, or are you going for season-long interest? So that little bit of knowledge is going to help you choose that right type of hydrangea for your space. And you know what, folks? If you pick the wrong hydrangea and you put it in the wrong spot, it's okay. We have all been there. We all have to move plants. There is grace in gardening for sure. Odds are you're not going to get it right the first time, so we just have to move the plant. It's okay. As always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. If you have, we would love it if you would like and subscribe to Gardening with Creekside. That way you don't miss really great educational videos like this so that you can become the best gardener that you can be. As always, we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.